Today is Sunday, May 26th, and this is another update on my progress beating the S&P 500 along with the Ark Innovation ETF. I do make these videos every Sunday and Tuesday, so if you want to follow along, hit that subscribe button and let's get into it. Since Wednesday, I closed out of my DraftKings position along with the Square position. DraftKings was sold for a loss of 10.04% and Square was sold for a loss of 9.8%. I closed out of the DraftKings position because right now the share price is below the 5-day and the 15-day moving average. With football season being over and basketball season about to finish up, I just don't really see people betting on baseball the way that people bet on football and basketball. Right now the share price is $40.81. I have a price alert to go off at $38.88, which is a 4.77% drop from where it is right now. I also have another alert set for when it hits $35.50, and that's just about a 13% loss from where it is right now. Once it hits those levels, I'll be a lot more confident in buying back into it, but for right now I just don't really see a point. I sold Square pretty much for the same reason as DraftKings as far as the chart's concerned. Right now the share price is below the 5-day, which is also below the 15-day. For this one, I also have alerts if it hits down here or up here, in which case if it hits either of those, I'll consider rebuying into it, but as long as it just sits here and trades in this range, I also don't see a point in owning it. This is how much I've added to my open position since Wednesday. I increased my General Electric position by 100%. Google, Apple, Microsoft, and Nvidia, I increased by 30%. I increased PayPal by 25%, 20% for Costco, and 15% for C3 AI. I decided to increase all of these positions because I didn't want to have as much cash just sitting on the sidelines. Because I freed up some room in my portfolio by selling out of DraftKings and Square, I decided to add a new position, which I put 2% of my portfolio into Mind Medicine. So right where this green dot is where I decided to buy into Mind Medicine. The share price and the 5-day moving average are pretty much in the same exact spot, but they are both below the 15-day moving average. I felt pretty confident buying into it because I'm looking at this green line as the resistance level, and as long as the share price eventually crosses above the 15-day moving average, and as long as it can do that above this resistance level, I don't really see a reason why it cannot have another bull run. I did only put 2% of my portfolio into it, but if it crosses this resistance level, then I'll definitely be adding more. These are all my current positions. Right now, Nvidia, Apple, Google, Microsoft, and General Electric make up my top 5 holdings, and those account for 50.51% of my portfolio. So right now I'm at 13 open positions, and I'm not really going to be planning on opening up any new ones, and I'm just going to add to the ones that I already have. I currently have 14.06% of my portfolio sitting in cash, with 85.94% invested. This week, if some of my negative stocks like Snap, Capital One, PayPal, and C3 AI can show signs of recovery, I'm definitely going to be looking to add to those ones before I add to any of the other ones. Like I said earlier, my top 5 holdings account for just above 50% of my portfolio. For the most part, my top 5 usually account for 40%, so those ones I'm definitely not going to be adding to. Since Wednesday, my portfolio went down 0.37%. The S&P 500 saw a decline of 0.33, and the Ark Innovation ETF declined 1.81%, which brings us year to date. My portfolio has a gain of 14.64. The S&P 500 is at a gain of 11.85, and the Ark Innovation ETF on the year has a loss of 12.12%. That's all I got for today. I make these videos every Sunday and Tuesday, so if you want to follow along, hit that subscribe button, and I'll catch you on Tuesday.